So just to start off, are you here out of your own free will? Are you happy to do this interview and for us to have this conversation?
Absolutely. My actions aren't being influenced at all. I want to be here because it's for me, it's something that I feel like I need to do. It's something I wanted to do for a long time now.
And has anybody put you up to this? Has anybody coerced you in any way?
No, this was my idea, it was my doing. I just needed help, but this is something that is for me and what I wanted to do.
Okay, so let's start with this latest incident that that has led to you opening this case. Tell me what happened. Tell me your story about how you ended up opening a case against your father.
Okay, from the beginning.
From the beginning, yeah.
Okay. I was spending the weekend at an aunt's place, my dad's cousin, and he had said we got there on Friday and he said he would fetch us on Saturday morning because I had to be home, I had work to do, and I've also been sick, so I just wanted to be at home in my own space. And my had a party to go to on Sunday morning as well, so she just wanted to be sure that we were on time. So the agreement was he dropped us and he said, okay, tomorrow morning I'll come get you guys. And we waited the whole of Saturday. We messaged him and he didn't respond. He wasn't saying where he was. So by Saturday night, my aunt said, oh, did your dad let you know he's not coming to get you guys? And we were like, no, he didn't let us know. So I phoned him and said, I have this thing tomorrow. I have to be on time. It starts at 9 o'clock and I need to be there. And he was basically just like, well, tough, you know, I'm an hour away, I can't come and get you, and I'll deal with later. So, because I'd asked her to tell him that I have work to do as well. And he was just like, no, stay there, I'm coming to get you tomorrow, don't put pressure on me. So he came to fetch us on Sunday morning, and as soon as he got there, he didn't walk into the house. We had our bags ready, we were ready to go, and he said to why were you putting pressure on me? I could have been asleep, I had a late night, and what kind of a person has a party on a Sunday morning anyway, type of a deal. There must be something wrong with those people, don't put pressure on me. And he was shouting at her, and it was in front of everybody, in front of my auntie and whatever. So she started crying, so I took her hand and we waited in the car. He came with his driver / bodyguard kind of deal, so we were in a different car than his normal one. So I took her hand, we got into the car, our bags were put into the car, and we left, and then we drove off to Pretoria to his offices, the Ipid offices, and we swapped cars, and then the bodyguard left, and we got into my dad's car. And as soon as we left, it was just my dad and I in the car. I was in the back with her. And basically, as soon as we drove out of the offices, he started yelling at her. And he started saying that she was ungrateful and that he does everything for her. He runs up and down for her. And that she was putting too much pressure on him and that she's the child, he's the adult. And she was basically saying, yeah, but I did let you know like a week ago about this party, you know, I did tell you. And he was just shutting her down, and she was just like, okay, I'm sorry, because she started to tear up again, obviously getting upset. And he turned around and he was kind of speaking to me from the side. He was still driving though. And he said, and I told you to take your school books with you, so why are you complaining about work? And I said, well, I needed the internet at home, but also I'm sick. I want to be in like my own home while I'm sick, you know, not in someone else's space. And he started shouting at me and saying I was ungrateful and I'm spoiled and I can't get everything I want the way I want it all the time, that he was tired and he needed to sleep. And it was just lots of shouting. He kept like alternating between the two of us, shouting at her for this, shouting at me for that, and like asking us for answers, and then when we responded he would just get more angry. And there was a point when he was screaming at to something about her phone, why her phone was off or something like that, and he was saying, I'm going to hit you. So I like interjected and I was like, okay, just leave it, her mom said you can't have her phone on, type of a deal. And he was like, he turned around to me, and we were approaching a traffic light, but we hadn't stopped yet, and he started pulling my hair from back. My hair was loose and it was in my face, and he's like, I've told you to tie this hair up. Don't be disrespectful, and I've told you to tie this hair up. It doesn't look good on your face. And he made me tie it up, so I started tying it up like he was pulling it. So then he stopped, and then he was getting more and more angry with me. Like I was answering all his questions, but he obviously wasn't happy with the answers. Like he would ask me the same thing over and over, and I was telling him the same thing, and he's like, no. So we were obviously just going at each other the whole time. And then he got angry, and he was still driving, but he turned around with the hand he wasn't using, and he was hitting me in my face, like a few times on my head and then in my face, like on my eyes and that. And he was shouting, and eventually I put my hand out. I stopped, like I blocked his hand, and I told him to stop. And he said to me, don't tell me when to stop hitting you. And he started strangling me with the one hand, and he was like, I'll get out of this car here and hit you in front of everyone, and then I'll take you back to your school and hit you there too. And he was like, you don't block my hand. And then I said, then don't hit me, you know. And then at that stage we were at the traffic light, and he turned right around, and he had both hands around my neck, and he was strangling me, and he's like, I'll kill you, don't tell me what to do or when to stop hitting you. And he was strangling me, and he didn't stop until the car behind us was hooting for us to go, because the lights had changed. And then we carried on driving, and he was still chastising and saying that there's no reason why her phone should have been off, because she has a phone from America, and obviously it doesn't work here because of the SIMs or whatever. And she was saying, no, if I turn it on, then it's extra charges for. And he was like, well, can just pay that money anyway. I'm the one who got her to New York, so it's not like she can't afford it just for one day. And then he said to me, you're going to see you want to work, you want to complain about needing to work, when you get home you're going to work, but I'm not done with you, I'm going to kill you. I don't want negativity around me, and you're always feeling sorry for yourself, you always say that you hate yourself, then you might as well jump off a bridge, and we'll have a funeral and we'll be sad, but then it'll be over with. And I was crying or whatever, and I was just like, at that stage I just stopped answering him back, and I just said, okay, yes, Dad, I'm sorry. And I said, yes, I'm sorry. And then he didn't say anything to us for the rest of the way, and we had just gotten home at that stage. And he told us to take our stuff upstairs, and he's like, pack your bag, wherever we go today, you'll have your books with you, you're going to see you won't stop working now. And when I got home, he was about to leave for another meeting. So he left us there, and while he was getting ready to leave, I sent my friend a message, and I told her what happened. It was brief, but I told her, I just need you to come get me. My dad hit me, he strangled me, he told me that he's not done with me and that he's going to kill me. Please just come get me. And she lives in Joburg, so she said, okay, I'm going to get there as soon as I can. And he left, and I started packing a bag for when they get to me. So I packed my bag, and I asked if she was okay, and she said she wasn't. And she usually is. Like afterwards, whenever that happens with my dad, we usually just talk about it and then we're okay, but she's like, I'm not okay. And I told her, when you go to your gran tomorrow, because it was part of her plan to go to her granny on Monday, I said, you just stay there and then you send your mom a message. I didn't tell her that I was going to leave. I just had my bag packed, and then without her noticing, I put my bags outside the door, and I told her I was going to take the trash out. And that was when my friend messaged and said, okay, I'm outside. So I left with my stuff and I got into the car. And on the drive back, I just kept my head down because I knew that wherever his meeting was going to be, it was in the area. So I said to my friend, Mom, just drive, let's get out of this area first. And I sent a message immediately, and I told her, listen, I've left, I have to go, he won't hit you, because he never does hit, it's always me, he'll maybe just shout at her. And she was asking, what do I tell, what do I say? say you don't know anything. You can show him these messages. I'm not going to tell you where I am so that obviously can't get angry with you. But I'm safe, and just send me your mom's number so that I can tell her what happened. And then in the car on the way there, my friend's mom tried to phone my dad just to say, look, she's with me, I haven't kidnapped her or whatever, you know. And he answered the phone and he said, hi, how are you? And she said, I'm not okay. I'm very upset with what you've done today. And his response was, oh, geez. And he kind of cut the call like it was an inconvenience. He cut the call, and then straight after that I phoned mom to say this is what happened, and I think that I'm going to go to the police now. I can't do this anymore and it's not okay. Your child is with him. You need to make sure she gets to her grand, type of a deal. And she was saying, you need to just think about it. Do you really want to go to the police? Maybe you can make a deal with him, you know. And I was just like, no, I think this is what I want to do. We didn't go to the police immediately because I needed to speak to my mom first. But then on Sunday night we did go and press charges or whatever. So yeah.
Is this the first time that he's hit you or threatened you?
No. It happens all the time. Less this year, these last 8 months, because I'm in a boarding school now, so during the week I'm not with him, only on weekends. But from the time I started living with him about 2 years ago, it was literally every night, every second night, whenever he got a chance to argue with me or fight with me or something, he would end up hitting me. And not just like hiding, like throwing me against things or banging my head into things or whatever. So it's been happening for a really long time.
And what gave you the courage to speak out this time?
I had somewhere to go this time. I've only really become very close with my friend's family this year. Before that I couldn't really tell anyone because my mom was working in Cape Town last year, and this year she's moved back, but she isn't employed and she isn't working and she's ill, she has cancer. So that was never, like, I had nowhere else to go. Whereas this time, when a few months ago when I told my friend this is what's happening, she said, if it happens again, you call me. And it was just so bad on Sunday that I did. And so I had somewhere to go and I had someone to help me and explain the process, because I didn't know what to expect walking into a police station, what I would have to do. But because I had someone to guide me and say, look, I can take you if you want to go, that's why I decided to.
What was the reaction like when you went to the police station and you told them who the person was that you wanted to open the case against?
Everyone we spoke to was very reluctant to help us at first. They heard his name, because my friend's mum had asked first just to speak to a woman, but the guy in charge wanted to know what it was about. And as soon as we said, this is Robert McBride's daughter and he's assaulted her today, he started acting like he couldn't help us. And he was like, okay, I just need to call this person. And then the person he called needed to phone someone else. And it was a whole long process before my statement could actually be taken. Everyone, as soon as they heard who I was and who my dad was, there was a problem. There was a moment when my statement was being taken where they insisted I give the street name we were on. And I was like, I don't know what street we were on, you know. He was hitting me. I wasn't looking for a street name. And they were like, no, well, you have to remember the street name. So I had to kind of estimate from directions from the Ipid officers to home where roughly it could have been. Because they insisted if you don't know the street name, then we can't help you. And it was just small things like that. And it took a really long time because everyone, as soon as they heard their name, they were like acting as if there's nothing they can do about it.
Why are you speaking out now? I mean, the implications for you are massive. I know you've said that you're afraid. Why have you decided to go public with this?
I wasn't going to until Sunday evening when I got that kind of response at the police station where I could clearly see that he's a powerful man. And I know that because I've I've lived with him, I understand his work, and I could see that people were scared to do something to him or about what they heard. And I feel like my only option to get help is going public, getting people to see my point of view, because legally people weren't willing to help me because they know who he is. And if I speak out about it in a public forum where everyone can see what I'm saying and a docket can't be interfered with or accidentally disappear, or it goes through someone who's maybe an ally of his, if it's just me speaking and everyone hears me firsthand, then my story gets out properly. It can't be interfered with, and I just don't want it to be swept under the carpet because of who he is, or because people are too scared to speak out against him because he's powerful. So that I figured that getting the news involved or the media involved will get what I'm trying to say out. It'll get me the help I need if, for example, people at a police station don't want to.
What he's saying is that this is extortion, that you've been put up to this and that you're willing to drop the charges for money. Is that true?
Not at all. He can offer money, but I don't want his money. I didn't press charges in the hopes to get money or make a deal. My main concern was getting away from him, making sure that I'm still in a school, and then making sure that he's brought to justice, that he gets punished for what he's done, because he's done it for such a long time. Money isn't a big deal to me. I have people who are willing to put financial support into my life for me so I can stay in school, because that's the only thing that I'm worried about. He could offer me any amount of money and I wouldn't drop the charges, because that's not what it's about.
What would you like to see happening from now? How would you like to see justice being played out?
The same way it would for anyone else. He assaulted me. He had his hands around my neck. He threatened to kill me. I want him to go to jail the same way anyone else would. I want him to be locked up. I don't want to be scared. The biggest reason why I haven't been able to go back to school in Pretoria is because I know he's there and I'm scared. So I'm scared of him sending someone to come and find me, or him coming himself. So if I have peace of mind knowing he's in jail, he's getting punishment for something that's wrong, that's what I want out of everything.
The suggestion from Ipid is that this is part of a smear campaign in the criminal justice system's ugly factional war for personal vendettas, that you may have been put up to this by some kind of section of the criminal justice system that wants to taint his reputation. Is that in any way true?
Not at all. I haven't been contacted by anyone regarding his work, regarding anything to do with the kind of work he does. I haven't been contacted by someone asking me to do this, being put up to this. This stemmed from him hitting me on Sunday. This has nothing to do with his work. I'm not concerned about his reputation or his line of work. I'm concerned about what he did to me. So anything along those lines, those accusations are untrue.